Hi, welcome back to our conversation on hand grinder safety. We've talked about a lot of things already, including the personal protective gear that you need, and we've talked about what the different types of wheels that you can use are. In this video, we're going to talk about how to quickly inspect the wheel and install it properly. So we're going to install a hard abrasive wheel. This is your common grinding wheel. We've already taken a look to make sure that the wheel is the right wheel and we're using it for the right stuff, and that it's the right size and the right RPM. We've already checked that, and we have previous videos talking about making sure you're using the right wheel. In this video, we'll show you how to mount it. First, I'll take a look and see if it's safe. I'm looking for evidence of cracks, evidence of big chunks missing, because if it has chunks missing or cracks in it, this thing could explode when you go to use it, sending shrapnel everywhere. So we want to take a look for that. This wheel looks good. Next thing I'm going to look at is how thick is this wheel? When I take a look at the thickness of this wheel, it's quite thick. In fact, comparing it to some of the other wheels, okay, the mounting surface here is quite a lot thicker. It's twice as thick as this sandpaper flapper here, okay? So the mounting surface is thick, which is going to matter when we go to install this. So when I take a look at this wheel, this nut, I'm going to place this in the right spot, and I take a look. This nut has two sides to it. It has a flat side. The flat side is used for thinner wheels like these two, okay? They are single thickness, and that's going to clamp on like so. If you were to use the lip side, the lip sticks through the wheel much too far. When I install this, you're going to see that it doesn't actually work, okay? And I'll do that right now, actually. I'll just put this on here. Now make sure that the label side is facing you when you grind. Place it on there. I'm going to put the lip side down and just hand tighten for now. You can see that it's not even biting that wheel. And if I flip this over, flat side, it will bite the wheel. You can see that that's now biting, okay? Now, on the thicker wheels, which is the hard abrasive wheels, they're twice as thick as any other. So if I was to use the flat side on this, you can see there's not really a lot holding this in place, okay? If I put the flat side on there, it's going to clamp it, but it's not actually holding this on center very well. Just a tiny little lip there to hold this on center. So I will use the lip side, insert that lip down into the double thick wheel. Now you got two lips holding it in place, and that's going to stay on center, and it's not going to break the wheel. Okay, so thick wheels require using the lip side down, and thin wheels would require using the flat side to go down. Okay, now when you are first you inspect, make sure that everything looks good, and then when you place it on there in the right direction, flat side down for a thin wheel, you're going to need to use a wrench. Okay, it's an angle grinder wrench, and when you go to try to tighten it, you can't tighten it because it's spinning. So there is a lock on the back here. You push the lock and you spin the wheel, and it eventually locks in place. And then you're able to turn this wrench and tighten. And you want to tighten this not as hard as you can, but you are going to insist that it's quite tight. Don't overdo it. All right. Now what you do is you check, lock it with your finger, and pull on that wheel, make sure it's not spinning. If you install the nut the wrong way, and you do that, it should slip. So this is in there properly and tight. Now, if you take a look at this hand grinder, if I was to mount this improperly and not get the wheel down onto the lip, let's just say I put it up on the side of the lip like that, and I clamp it down. So it looks like it's installed, but as soon as I spin this, it's not concentric, meaning the two circles are not lined up. It's sort of oblong on one side. That's very dangerous because when I go to use this, it's going to skip and chatter, and it's potentially going to break this wheel, sending shrapnel everywhere and potentially cutting somebody. So make sure that before you use a hand grinder after installing the wheel, that you check to see that they are spinning concentric. So in this case, I'm going to loosen this off. I'm going to make sure that the label side is facing top of the machine. And there's the label side to the top of the machine. Line it up on the lip. Flat side down for thin discs. And tighten that in place. And again, give that a spin and see that it's spinning concentric before using it. That is how you mount these things. In an upcoming video, we're going to talk about how you set up the wheel guard and how you inspect the rest of this to make sure it's set up properly so that you can use it safely.